shelters. Now, the mayor has asked all city departments to cut their budgets by more than 2%. OCAP fears that will mean the loss of the badly needed beds. Tory says the group showing up at his home isn't the way to go.
Come to City Hall and protest anytime they want, and they can go to Queen's Park similarly. And I think it's unfair to people who hold public office, more so to their neighbors and to their families. And so the fact they're going to come to my house, I live in a condominium, so I have lots of neighbors, but that's fine. Again, I'm not going to get myself upset about that because they'll do whatever they think is best to advance their cause. It's actually a cause that I very much support.
With winter quickly approaching, OCAP is demanding the city live up to its promise to never let shelter bed occupancy go above 90%. Now, the head of OCAP is defending this move. He says the shelter crisis needs to be dealt with now.
No progress is being made. The warming centres that they've established last winter were packed to the rafters. The shelters were full all summer, and they're moving into a winter now without having dealt with the situation in a meaningful way. And moreover, Tory has insisted on a 2.6% cut to departments across the board, and the shelters are not even exempted from that.
He did say, though, he would look at that as being the last thing, one of the last things he would try and cut, or have to cut.
That may be so. But regardless, we're in a situation where the basic human right to shelter from the elements is not being met in this city. And to stand in front of the mayor's luxury condominium and say that seems to us politically and morally an important thing to do.
Now they're even rolling out the red carpet for the mayor. If you'd like to come down and watch the documentary, but the mayor apparently has several events on for tonight, so it's not sure if he will even be home this evening. I'm Roger Peterson. I'm live outside the mayor's apartment, his condo, and outside you can see this massive gathering over here, and it's OCAP has organized this. It is for the premiere of their new documentary, bursting at the seams about what they say is the homeless crisis in Toronto, and they are calling on the mayor to put more money towards helping the homeless. They say the situation will be dire this winter. It was a problem through the summer, and it's only going to get worse. Short-term and immediate solution is needed, but also long-term there are things they need to look at. Their big concern is the 2.6% across the board cut that the mayor is asking for. They say that will hurt many of the programs that so many of the homeless in this city need, which they say numbers in the thousands, but many of them are hidden away, couch surfing, and in places like that. We will have more on this premiere of the documentary and reaction to it coming up on City News tonight at 11. Saying homelessness is at a crisis level, the Ontario Coalition Against Poverty held the premiere of its documentary on what they say is a growing problem at the front door of Mayor John Tory's multi-million-dollar condo.
They call it the Tower of Power, this place, and it seemed to us very fitting and very appropriate to have the gala screening of the film on the conditions in the shelters held at this precise location.
There really is a war on the poor and the homeless, and we really are fighting them.
OCAP organizer John Clark says the doc, bursting at the seams, shows the crisis we are facing when it comes to the homeless. Soaring prices and gentrification are forcing more and more at-risk people out of the core and away from the services they need. He says while something has to be done long-term, also short-term. This winter, with shelters at capacity and beyond, it could prove to be a deadly one without emergency help.
The city must locate, purchase and open space. They could open, as they've done in the past, the federal armories in order to save lives and in order to give people a place of safety and shelter.
Clark fears the mayor's call for a 2.6% across-the-board budget cut will be devastating to shelters and housing programs. But earlier today, when told about OCAP's concerns, the mayor said he would do everything he could to save them from cuts.
And I can assure you, when it comes to homeless people and to some of the needs we have in that area, those proposals that have come forward will not be ones I'll be that interested in seeing implemented.
As for OCAP's plans to screen the documentary at his front door, the mayor felt it was unfair for his neighbors. Some were clearly unhappy with the disruption, others not so much. Any concerns that bother you?
No, not really. Just came out to check it out.
Do you think there is an issue in the city with homelessness?
I think there's an issue in the city and in the country.
Those passing by felt the same way. What do you think of the idea of OCAP having this premiere out in front of the mayor's home?
I think that's a great idea. I'm really happy that they're doing it. I was just stopping by to see what's happening, but like, I'm happy to hear that that's what it is.
I do think they need to make a point, and we do need more shelters, so whatever they can do to get his attention.
I seen a man. I lay down there and warm up as a hot man. Next thing you know, I got this guy. He's like sitting beside me and stuff. I'm like, what's going on?
The last word to Christopher Neal. He's been on and off the streets for several years. He says the shelters are overcrowded, and as you heard, finding a safe, warm spot on the street is even getting tough. He says Queen's Park needs to pay if a crisis is to be averted.
If the province gets involved, because if they paid what they would give, like all the city's got to do is ask, and they would give. But if the city don't ask, they don't get.
And the Premier, who was at the same event as the Mayor earlier today, agrees the province must step up. She says so too must Ottawa.
And I said the same thing when people went to the Premier's house. Look, it's a free country, and thank goodness people can go where they want and protest wherever they want and protest whatever they want. I do think, personally, that it is unfair, more so to my neighbours and to the Premier's neighbours when people show up at your house. There's lots of places they can go. They can come to City Hall and protest anytime they want. And they can go to Queen's Park similarly. And I think it's unfair to people who hold public office, more so to their neighbours and to their families. And so the fact they're going to come to my house, I live in a condominium, so I have lots of neighbours. But that's fine. Again, I'm not going to get myself upset about that because they'll do whatever they think is best to advance their cause.